Hello, lads and lasses, and welcome back to Boys Down Under, where today a bit of transfer news regarding Christopher Jullien, John Kennedy as well, and also we look at everyone's favourite, Kyogo. So practically, we are going around the news. But before we go any further though, if you guys are enjoying the content, you want to help support the channel, the absolute very best way to do so is to click that like button and click that subscribe button. And I thank you all for doing that. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, Chris Jullien. Now, it's been a funny ride, hasn't it? You know, with him, since the off-season began, everyone thought he was as good as gone. And then came the reprise. Carl Starfelt got injured. Could Jullien finally get his chance under Ange? A whole lot of bustle and rustle. But Welsh then got the starts in pre-season. Moritz Jens was brought in just over a month ago. Starfelt has returned from injury, and it is looking like Jullien is pretty much our fourth choice centre-back. Now, he may be our fourth choice centre-back, but he is actually Celtic's third highest wage earner. So that's ridiculous. He has to go. And he could very well be gone. According to a report from L'Equipe, Jullien is set to have a medical today with Ligue 1 side Montpellier. Fancy myself with a French accent. Anyways, now the report doesn't state whether this is a loan deal, a permanent deal, or whatever, because the reason is Montpellier are still unsure whether to sign Jullien and are going to make a call after his medical, because the potential for injury with him is uncommonly high. There is still a player in him, no doubt about it. However, the player in him is not one that Ange favours at all. But it could be much more appealing for some others around Europe. Now, a return home to France, that seems like the best thing for him. And it seems it might just click for him there, because realistically, the ship has sailed at Celtic. It's like a mutually understanding breakup. You know, you both can appreciate the good times you had together and the memories, but for both of you guys, for both the couple, it is time to move on and to go our separate ways. So hopefully he doesn't fail the medical, because there'll be no one else who wants him. Regardless, if he fails the medical at Montpellier, no one else is going to want him, let alone Montpellier. So fingers crossed, nothing goes south in the south of France. I actually don't know where Montpellier is located, but I'm assuming it is the south of France, because that would make that little one-liner work quite nicely. Anyways, I wonder, right? There can always be a bit of speculation. I'll speculate right now. I wonder if they'd be looking to do a 2-for-1 deal, in the sense that they could be getting Jullien plus an unnamed Swiss striker for the price of just Jullien. So we'll see if that has any strength to it, and we'll see if I can work a transfer deal with Montpellier for that double deal. Anyways, moving on and staying on the topic of transfers, John Kennedy. Yeah, didn't expect his name, did you? Unless you did. Anyways, remember the rumours he was going to join FC Midtjylland? Well, he is reportedly staying in Celtic's dugout in what should be seen as a win for Celtic, right? While he may not be the best at managers, and many view him as the main reason we lost 10 in a row, although I do believe the main culprit will and forever will be Neil Lennon, he certainly has an affinity with the playing squad and a great relationship with the players, and that is needed in your assistants, because it can appear sometimes that it seems very common in football that the managers like to keep a bit of a distant relationship with his playing squad to forego any bias or anything like that, or any attachment. So it's usually up to the assistants to, form those player-coach relationships. So he isn't going anywhere. Well, not for now, at least. I'm sure there'll come a time where John Kennedy does move on to a head coaching role, whether that state be in Scotland or he moved down south. I am none the wiser on the matter, and frankly, it doesn't really bother me. If we keep him, we keep him. That's good for Celtic. If we don't keep him, I'm sure Ange has a list of coaches he'd love to bring in to Celtic. Just look at what he's done with Harry Kewell already. I'm sure there's many others he would be willing to, bring him along the ride at Celtic. So, that's that. Now, moving into the topic of the prized possession, Kyogo, he caught my eye today in the news, and he was speaking to, I believe, I can't remember exactly who it was, maybe it might have been Football Scotland. Anyways, he caught my eye today with his goal tally for the season. Kyogo has put a target of 30 goals this season for Celtic. That is if he is able to stay fit throughout the whole season. Now, thing is, right, this is in all competitions, as a disclaimer, so it does seem a lot more realistic than just in the league. Not only is he going to have to deal with the risk of injury, because I think it's a reduced risk this season, but it certainly still is up there because of how frequently it happened last season, but he's also got a Greek god sitting there on the bench, just patiently waiting to get his first start this season. Now, as you can already tell, he is ready to take his opportunity because he's scored twice this season already, both times off the bench. And I don't see why Kyogo wouldn't start some matches. I can 100% see Ange favouring Giakoumakis in some situations. But look, I don't see why also Kyogo can't score 30 plus goals this season, same as Giakoumakis, you know. He scored 17 or so last season and only practically played half of the season if you tally up the amount of time he spent on the sidelines. There was the 3-month stint for that major hamstring injury, but I'm sure there was another at least 2 months from other injuries as well, injuring these other hamstrings. So, look, I've got complete faith in Kyogo. I think it's great that he's setting very high standards for himself. And if he hits it, it will be surely well on his way to Celtic's Player of the Season. If he can score 30 plus goals, that would be absolutely ridiculous. So, I do hope he can achieve it. And at the same time, if there's players are scoring goals, Celtic are winning matches. Win-win situation. Anyways, last but certainly not least, mini rant on St Mirren. St Mirren is my grandpa's team. However, they are in the bad books today, cutting down Celtic's away allocation in half. Now, they're not the first team to do so, but the way they've approached it, you know, it's just a bit goofy. It's a bit ridiculous. You know, I can understand completely the precedent in place that they don't want to be outnumbered at their own ground, because it's clear that if they give up half their stadium, 3,000 plus around 3,000 tickets to Celtic fans, we will gobble that up in a matter of minutes, let alone 1,300 as to what we have now. Anyways, the ridiculousness is in asking supporters to chip in an extra £30 to cover the cost they are losing out of removing that, you know, 1,500 or so Celtic fans, Celtic away seats. So it's just a bit stupid, isn't it? It's a bit of a slap in the face to their own fans, you know. Pretty poor way to run a football club, if you ask me. But, you know, what can they do? If I was a St Mirren fan, I wouldn't pay that 30 extra quid. You know, it's optional, of course, but I just wouldn't pay it, you know. Down here in Australia, 30 quid is roughly 60 Australian dollars. What I could get, I'd love if someone gave me just 60 Australian dollars to just throw away right now. That'd come in a lot of handy. It's a bit ridiculous from St Mirren. I just can't fathom the thought process as to why, you know, they would then go on to ask their fans for more money. You know, it's a simple solution. Just give the tickets back to Celtic. You'll make that money back in a heartbeat. Oh well, Scottish football clubs. But that is all from me. So if you guys did enjoy the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, leave in the comments below your thoughts on anything throughout the video. And until next time, hail, hail.